Tesla's going to be ramping up them robots by the end of the year.
Oh, good. You already got a job for one of them? You know how you're going to use it?
Yeah, I do. Dishes, laundry.
Dishes and laundry, yeah.
Make the bed.
Yeah, I think they had a demo of, was it them who had a demo of, or they had a thing where they had one of the machines bartending or something like this. I think there's a Chinese company that showed them doing dishes. So yeah, sounds like I know what you're excited about then.
Well, that and the cyber taxis are out there. We got to get this all out before if Jay shows up. I don't want to get him going.
I don't think the cyber taxis are operating. Let me see. It's upcoming. Yeah, it's not operating yet.
Yeah, they are. They're in Austin. They're in. There'll be probably 50 cities by the end of the year.
Yeah. So I think what's going on. So there is no car that's a cyber taxi. That was a prototype he showed. It's planned for production. Maybe they're doing a prototype. Let's see.
They're running it in Austin. I know for sure. No, with no driver.
Concept version availed in 2024. Yeah. Is Cyber Cab running in Austin? Yeah. Model Y. It's the Model Y. It's not the new vehicle, but yes, they're offering. Cybercab is not yet fully running for public rides.
What? Am I using the wrong term?
A test fleet. There is a test fleet, but they are not commercial. Yeah, I knew they weren't doing commercial rides. A few units were spotted in Austin last year. They're now operating 7 total units in testing, 3 of which are spotted over the weekend in Texas. Bay Area testing started in January 3rd. The unit they're using, this is, it's kind of minor, but they're using Model Ys is what is going on in Austin. But anyway, so you think that's going to solve a lot of problems to have robo-taxis?
20 cents a mile, it should.
People have been trying to do that for about 10 years, so we'll see when they get it together.
I wouldn't want to be Uber or Lyft.
Yeah. They've been trying to solve that self-driving problem for about 10 years now. We'll see if they... I always hear 2030 as like a reasonable estimate. I know until recently you needed to have somebody in the car with you monitoring the... Yeah.
So if I don't say robo-taxi, I say cyber taxi. What cyber cab?
The cyber cab is the prototype model he demoed. It's like a new body style and everything.
The 2-seater, yeah.
Yeah. The vast majority of these units are Model Y cars, according to Tesla Roddy. So anyway. But anyway, I mean, the model of the car is sort of maybe not as important as what you're saying, which is that there's a self-driving taxi. I mean, Google's been doing this for like 10 years. Literally, Waymo is their self-driving. They've been doing self-driving in Bay Area for a long time.
I think we're going to open up the market for TaaS, transportation as a service.
So you got Tesla stock, I'm guessing, if you're all in.
Ever since 2013.
Ah, I see. Yeah, well, you got in a good time, it sounds like. Yeah, Waymo began in 2009, so people have been working on this for a long time. We'll see. Hopefully, it'll take off. This is the kind of stuff you have to do these days because nobody's talking on social media. You have to.
What is going on social media in the mental health space, Anthony?
Let me go look for you. We were just thinking, I was talking to a client of mine, and he was talking about, I mentioned him that social media has been quiet, and he brought up the research that, people are not dating either. And they're not, the young people are not having sexual activity. And we were trying to get to the bottom of it. I'm sure Dr. Mari will have theories. But
all you need is nephews. I'll tell you what my nephews are saying.
What are they saying? You got nephews. That's cool. What are they saying?
Well, hold on. We got Lynn's brain. How we doing, Lynn's brain?
Let's see here.
Ask a question, Lynn's, or me and Anthony are going to get off on a tangent that we may not be able to recover from.
That's funny.
Go ahead, Anthony.
No, I was just curious what you're saying your nephews are saying.
They are saying that politics does come into play. The young men have been turned off because they've been told that they are not whatever social media said they have been, and they have been turned off, and unless you're aligned politically with a mate, you're not. And the guys ain't begging for it either, is what I'm hearing. So
that's the thing is, when you or I were younger, I'm sure you and I would have jumped through a lot of hoops, and they're not anymore. So that's the difference.
Well, there's different leaders too. It's I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but like Nick Fuentes is a very influential.
Oh Lord, dude, you're not going to bring up a white supremacist on the blog.
No, I'm not. I'm
okay.
I'm being real here. That these males are listening to this guy.
Okay, yeah, they're being influenced.
They're being influenced by him.
Yeah.
And then you also have the opposite sex. The females are being influenced about what's going on. And that means we're not having any kids in this country.
Yeah, now this has been happening for a long time. The millennials were having less sex than the boomers, et cetera, dating less, all that, having fewer kids. So I don't know if I would attribute all of it to podcasts and things like that. And there are probably lots of answers to why. There are web communities.
What would you attribute it to?
I don't know, sedentary lifestyles and
Hey, hold on, Netflix and chill.
Neurodivergence. Honestly, neurodivergence, which is partly environmental. I think actually probably a largely environmental is my guess. Go on.
Well, I'm just saying, it used to be Netflix and chill. Now it's just Netflix.
That's funny. Yeah, you saw that in a meme somewhere, I'm guessing.
No.
That was clever. Then if that was that's a good one, man. Yeah, so they look, the first thing people are going to want to tell me is, Anthony, you can't say that. There's lots of great things about being neurodivergent, and there are, there's creativity studies, and there's very autistic people can sometimes be very focused workers. I mean, yes, there's trade-offs to everything. But one thing we know about neurodivergent people is they are more often avoidantly attached, and they are more often introverted. So a majority of autistic people are introverted. And so when you're introverted and avoidant, you're not even interested in a relationship happening. I mean, and look at Japan. If you want to know where things are going, in Japan, they have all these statistics, but it's something like, I don't know, a third of 35-year-olds have never had a girlfriend or had sex. And when they ask them, they say they don't want to. And guess what? The rates of autism in Japan are like 3 times everywhere else. It's very high. It might be, I think I see studies is between 2 and 3x the rest of the world. So, and I don't think this is just diagnosis, because all Dr. Mari and Jay will talk about on here is we do not treat our bodies right. We're doing all kinds of things that are creating all these patterns in EEG. We don't get sunlight. We don't get activity. We don't get proper rest. Those change your brain.
Yeah.
That's what they do. And you can't tell me that that's not having an effect on our social lives and our personalities. the data is sort of overwhelming that it is. So let's see what the question we got here is. What's going on when someone's eyes are closed? Okay, this is going to be probably a Josh question. Or their alpha disappears. I think that might be one of the phenotypes, HEDA. So Josh is definitely the one to ask about that. But let me see if I can find out for you which phenotype that the alpha does not go away.
When someone's eyes are closed in a relaxed, awake state, you typically see a strong alpha rhythm around 8 to 12 hertz. Often most prominent over the occipital. Is that what your AI is telling you? Well, and then in the meantime, Lynn, we'll pay your husband twice.
She's talking about an alpha. I think she says that their alpha goes. Okay, their alpha goes. Yeah, so he's right. Pete is right. At least according to Jay's research. I'm sorry, it's Lynn who's been asking that question. I apologize, Lynn. Lynn, Jay, one of the phenotypes or proper functioning would be your alpha is supposed to diminish about 50% when you open your eyes. So it is normal for alpha to go down. In fact, it can be a sign of something needing treatment if it doesn't go away. But I think they say if it goes down by more than half, then that's sort of outside of the normal range. And I forget what symptoms it's associated with. So that's the best we can do without Josh here today.
The burger effect.
What do you say, Pete?
I just had the burger effect pop up.
What did it say about that?
When the person opens their eyes, especially in a lit room, the alpha rhythm suddenly gets much smaller, disappears. The EEG shift, lower amplitude, faster, more regular activity. It's called alpha blocking, or the burger effect, named after Hans Berger, famous German that Jay's a big fan of in the 1920s.
Yeah, he's the guy that discovered alpha. And alpha blocking, I guess that is the term I've heard them use. And it's healthy. It's healthy if it goes down by something like half, is what I believe I've heard. So anyway, let's see. Hita's asking, I need other videos. It works, but not here.
Hita was having a problem with the sound. I think Hita's good now.
Yeah. Shucks. Hopefully at least Lynn could hear some of the discussion, even if we weren't super helpful. So maybe you can tell us more, Lynn. Does that alpha, does it go away does it cut by more than half when they open their eyes? That might be something. Is it a very bright room? Because I know Pete just read that the brightness of the room can affect it.
It's not just about the light, Anthony. Mental attention or effort can also reduce alpha, but visual input is the strongest trigger.
So their brain perhaps working overtime there, Lynn. That was a good find, Pete. That's good use.
Well, you do hundreds of these videos and you save them all. You got something that you can query.
That's nice, man. It's pretty cool that you're getting so kind of in depth with it. I think that's a pretty cool skill.
I'm not getting in depth. I just know where to look, and I'm going to tell everybody to do your own looking.
Yeah, please.
Don't rely on the video editor.
That's funny. Yeah.
Are they asking about anything in the chat rooms this week?
Yeah, let me go look into the more active one.
Lynn says go Z-score negative. Yes.
I'll tell you, Lynn, so that might be indicative of something. I do know that Jay is not a fan of databases, which is what a Z-score is based on. So I think part of this answer, if he were here, would be you have to look at the raw EEG. But I suppose it's not out of the question that if the Z-score is negative, that means that this individual does have less alpha occipitally than maybe the average person. And I guess I'm Googling myself. I'm having difficulty finding what that might point to. Maybe that's one we could ask Jay later, Pete.
All right, let's put a little note here.
The new thing that people are upset about online is that the new DSM is coming out. The diagnostic manual is coming out, and they said they're going to have a greater emphasis on the causes and biomarkers of disease, which, you know, as you know, people we here in the neurofeedback world feel like we're constantly ignored on terms of what the causes of disease are and the biomarkers.
Do you think there'll be less pages or more pages?
Yeah, probably. You know, I don't know. It'll probably always.
I don't know.
They're putting this one online, and they said there's going to be an update, like frequently updated versus being every 10 years or whatever it's been. So that's kind of interesting.
I'm sure they'll lower the price.
Yeah, right. Jay Gaddis says he's saying guaranteed to be a monthly subscription. So we'll see. That's pretty sharp of him. You know, I had a friend who was a psychiatrist who started neurofeedback in the last week, and they've been so impressed with it that they were like, how have I not heard of this? And how have my patients not heard of this? And I don't know for sure, but I told her, I was like, well, people don't like futzy things, and we don't have the money for that drug research gets, and we can't patent this, you know, is kind of what I told her. But she was
hold on, you've only been doing it a week. It's kind of not a long period of time. Rent, don't own. Buy used, don't buy new.
Wait, what's this about rent to own? Sorry, somebody messaged me.
No, I was saying don't rent equipment, don't buy new, get used.
Yeah. Can you rent equipment? That's kind of different. I haven't heard of that one yet.
There's so much stuff floating around. You can
work something out.
They'll try to get you to buy it, but
yeah. We can't get the other thing. I told my psychiatrist friend too. I was like, you know, and you're doing a specific word. She's using Jay's models of neurofeedback. And so she's getting, I almost want to say like designer neurofeedback, but it's, you know, it's based on the best research available, in my opinion, and or the best theoretical basis. So it's like, you know, I want to tell her like, there's neurofeedback around, but it may not be as good as what you're getting. You know, it's because we can't get on the same page. And even on this podcast, you know, there's, you know, I think a lot of us who adhere to Jay's sort of philosophies are pretty, we're in agreement on a lot of things, but then you have people that are like, no, I just like to, you know, I like to give people some alpha. I like to give them some Z-score. I like to give them some ILF or whatever. It makes them feel good. And that's what matters. And, you know, I don't think that that's all that matters. So
anyway. Says rented before, but if you know you can do it at home, buy it.
Yeah, so she likes home use. I imagine a rented machine would be usable at home, but maybe I'm misunderstanding something there. But yeah.
Well, but they have that group, you know, buy and use neurofeedback equipment. You see stuff getting there all the time, and it's all clean. I mean, immaculate, used twice. At half off. Well, that's a lot of pecking.
Yeah, sorry. We're just talking about, so one of the factors in the lack of dating debate is that online dating, I mean, you don't have to go far to hear somebody say that online dating has ruined things. And one of the things that sociologists say it's ruined is there's just too many choices. Before you did not have, so you have FOMO. Before you just had the people in your town. Now you've got 50 people. Well, maybe I don't need to go on a second date. Maybe I don't need to try to work things out, or maybe I can ghost this person because maybe there'll be somebody better, you know? So it's called it's called the paradox of choice is another famous name. When I have lots of choices, I don't know what to do. And they find that people actually like they do less. They buy less if you give them too many products to choose from. So I think people are being turned off by having too many choices. I mean, it seems very plausible to me. Radar's asking. Radar, why don't you ask a question and then we can, well, you know, we don't got some of the heavy hitters here, but we can riff on stuff. I know you're very knowledgeable too, Radar. So
yeah, we need you on this side, Radar.
Radar says he's a bit bashful, which is why I've told him to maybe target the T6 alpha for social anxiety, if I can say that. He's been very open before, so hopefully he won't get mad at me for bringing that up. But I've seen people, Radar, at least two of the people closest to me, they reduced their T6 alpha, and they both reported that they are much more comfortable speaking and at work among their coworkers and also public speaking. They're much less, and maybe this isn't something you want to work on or anything, but if you did, I just wanted to say it.
You guys think neurofeedback software will have to be written for ARM processors, so like the Raspberry Pis and all that? I think you can write your own.
Microsoft has one. MacBooks all run on an ARM processor. I don't know, Radar, because all of the modern operating systems have an emulation layer. Like you can install old software on a new Surface or a new MacBook, and often it will try to make it work. So I don't know if we'll need to be rewritten. But you know, hopefully not, because I know one of the problems is this industry, you know, we don't have enough money for research. So yeah. Okay, Radar's taking a break. Well, yeah, man, thank you for being open, and it's only only if you feel it helps you, and you know, if there's an interesting reason why you've been taking a break, feel free to share that too. I imagine holidays and other things may be involved. So
yeah, we're almost done with January. The sober January, that's about to be over.
Yeah.
Is that a thing in Florida too?
Oh yeah, I hear about that everywhere. Yeah. So, and that's another thing that's been popular with millennials and with Gen Z is being sober, and you know, there's good and bad. There's with everything.
Well, what's the definition of sober? Because they're not doing booze; they're doing weed. Right?
Yeah. I think you're right. I think it's the numbers. Let's go see if the numbers. Well, but then there's things saying Gen Z's using drugs less. Let's see. Cannabis use has probably gone up. Though you're probably right. Cannabis is in and alcohol is out. Gen Z driving. So you called it, Pete. Seems like you called it. Let's go in there. Oh man, I can't get into the article. Of course, it's 25. 69% of people aged 18 to 24 prefer marijuana to alcohol. So, you know, that's not great for the brain either. It's, I imagine it's probably better for, probably a little better than drunk driving if I had to guess, because people don't leave their house a lot of times. But then again, maybe with vape pens, that's changing. But anyway, as we know, that can cause anxiety and depression. What's up, Pete?
I said, and the cyber taxi might help get people out of the house.
Yeah, I think people were. I've seen some brainstorming sessions about what would happen if we were all in self-driving taxis or cars, and they said maybe cannabis and drug, you know, alcohol maybe would go up. Who knows? But yeah, the cannabis is not cool because it can make you depressed. And because of that frontal alpha that it creates. Jay always references a study showing that. So that's a little bit of a shame. Oh, and the number one reason that the kids are using, so in a survey I saw, people say the number one reason for using cannabis is anxiety. So we've clearly got, you know, we've got a problem with anxiety in the youth, if not everybody, unfortunately. Okay, do we have any data on HRV and neurofeedback? Like using things like the Aura Ring and tracking. Yeah, Radar, you know, I ask on the forums many times about HRV. I asked any therapist seen a client increase their HRV? I cannot even get one response. And to be honest, I've never seen somebody increase their HRV. So I want to be clear here. The measurement of HRV, I'm a little skeptical of. And I've seen people that it's gone up by accident. They don't know what they were doing, but they also didn't report any improvement. Now, what I will say is I'm very confident. I'm pretty confident that the breathing, when people say they're doing biofeedback, usually what they're doing is they're doing a slow breathing, essentially, but they're doing breathing linked to their heart rate, etc. And that I think probably does work. But you know what? I've seen people get great benefits. They don't need any equipment. Just breathe 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. It shows the same EEG benefits as HRV breathing. There's people, you know, I'm sure many will disagree with me, and there's people that are going to swear by, I did HRV breathing in my heart rate and timed it, and it changed my life. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. Let's see.
I'm going to put a link to, what was his name? Richard Gervitz, I think his name was. Richard Geverts.
Okay.
I did a show with him about 4 years ago. I'm going to put a link into.
Okay.
Holy cow! This was when my sister was around. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So yeah, I mean, one cool thing is I think they're affordable to try HRV breathing radar. You know, you may need to look up some tutorials, but there's hardware you can buy if you really want to try HRV biofeedback breathing for like $150, maybe even less. Here we go. We got Saul Rosenthal, which is great. Measures of HRV aren't, he says, measures of HRV aren't great for short periods of time, like the 10 minutes or whatever we're training. Okay, I don't know if that means that he's saying that it takes longer than 10 minutes to change our HRV, or that HRV doesn't, yeah, you're waiting for a reaction. I mean, I guess, Saul, to be what I mean when I say I have never seen somebody change their HRV, what I mean is they do a week-long program of HRV breathing, and their fitness tracker says every day of that week their HRV was not any different. Maybe it was different during the session, but any other time it wasn't different. But you know, the good thing is maybe it works during the session, and you can do slow breathing anywhere. And some of this hardware, I don't know how hard it is to use, but you can do slow breathing anywhere. And if you slow breathe, it will lower your heart rate. I don't have any doubt about that. And there's going to be benefits to that, to your stress, without a doubt. And there's papers on, if you just Google benefits of slow breathing, you're going to find papers of talking about millions of results. I mean, just all these positive benefits to your life, and you can do it anytime. I know a clinician, he tells people to do their HRV breathing in the car, which I guess once you know your interval, if you're 5.5 seconds, yeah, you can use this. Sorry if I'm going too fast. Once you know what your HRV resonant breathing, the magic frequency of breathing for you, which you can get through professional biofeedback with equipment, you can download a free app from the Apple App Store, maybe Android, called Paced Breathing, bit like pace, like a running pace, paced breathing, and you can set up in there I want to breathe in 5.5 seconds and breathe out 5.2, whatever it is. I'm just making numbers up, and you can do that anytime you want. So that's something to keep in mind too.
Hey, Saul, you should be on this side of the glass too. Are you interested in coming on here? Because, you know,
knowledgeable people, the more knowledge, the better.
Yeah. There's no experts in this field. If there are, run away.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Cool. So maybe that means he's coming on now.
Well, you know,
he says, send me a link.
Be careful what you wish for, Pete. All right.
Yeah.
Continue, Anthony. I'll work on getting Saul in here.
Yeah. So Saul was real quick. Saul was agreeing. He says HRV is a long game. And, you know, I hear from clinicians. So Radar, you may want to know this, that there's clinicians, they say HRV breathing is great for people with lots of high beta. So if you find you're a high beta person, and that's associated with muscle tension, by the way, that slow breathing or HRV breathing, they both seem to help with that. One of the realities is these people with a lot of tension, tension, like muscle tension, the number one thing you'll hear from those, I don't like to stop and do breathing. It's very hard for me. I can't make myself stop. I can't sit still. And so it's a little sad because it feels sometimes like the people who need it the most are the least willing to do it. And so it's like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, I guess.
So I'll check your email, buddy.
That's cool. We could always use the backup here for especially tonight. So anyway, thank you for the questions though, Radar. Hope you're doing well, and Lynn and Hida, hope things are going well over there.
And then also ask your questions. If we don't answer them correctly, I do a show in the morning with Jay and Dr. Marie, and we can address it there as well.
Yeah, please do, guys. And if they don't answer the first time, ask again. Let's see. Radar says people who are over-aroused oftentimes feel uncomfortable when their arousal is lowered for the first time. I like that, Radar. I think you're right that maybe it's something that they could acclimate to potentially. And I know somebody who's a high beta person. If you told them, I think you should try breathing, they were kind of resistant, but then their Apple Watch started bugging them. It's got this thing where it's like, hey, take a second to do some slow breathing, and then it actually vibrates for you. They call it like the mindfulness app or something. It comes up, I think it's like by default. So, it's hopefully gaining some traction. Yeah, Radar says it makes them feel slow and dumb. Yeah, I mean, hopefully some of that is in their head, Radar. Obviously, we don't want people to feel dumb, but maybe there's a time for both. There's a time to relax and there's a time to be on, and they only have one gear maybe. So that could be true. That was a good point potentially there.
So we're getting to February.
Yeah.
The sober January's past us.
Yeah.
Does that mean we're going to get more mental issues in February, Anthony?
Yeah, when they start drinking again. Oh, you know what's helping the drinking supposedly is believe it or not, is the Ozempic use and the Wegovy's, Mounjaros. There's clinical trials showing that the drugs cut heavy drinking by half or 40%. So, and actually those same studies, what they say is they say this might be the most effective drug for addiction that we have for multiple addictions, because there's reports of curbing online shopping. We've talked about this on here before, but I just, I thought it'd be relevant because, for people for whom drinking is a problem, it could be good for them to know about other tools, because the tools we have actually apparently, neurofeedback we hope is effective. We sort of have limited studies. But the tools that they're offered from their doctor usually are pretty limited. So any new tools are probably good. Let's see here. Yeah, Radar says GLPs, which are what GLP-1 agonists are, what Ozempic and Wegovy are, seem to reduce all kinds of compulsive behavior. Yep. And I think there's at least one paper that says they're doing it by addressing theta waves, which makes sense because theta is one of Jay's addictive patterns that he pointed out, or he treated in his paper on addicts, which is a famous paper he did. He suppressed their theta, their alpha, and their beta. And 31 of 32 addicts remained abstinent a year to 18 months later, which is unheard of. I mean, the last time I checked on alcoholism, the traditional approaches, they had something like 15 to 30% efficacy in terms of remission. People using drugs or alcohol specifically less. And even Alcohol Anonymous has underwhelming efficacy. Hey, Saul, what's up?
I don't seem to have sound, so let me figure that out.
You're coming through, but it's a little staticky. I don't know if Pete can hear you.
A little choppy, Saul.
Yeah.
Hit your router on the side like that. That'll do it.
Yeah, so. Now, the problem is people don't stick with the GLP-1s. That's a new problem. And one of the reasons I hear is that they just get tired of the nausea that can come with them. And then, of course, there's a cost. And until now, it's been an injection, but they just came out with an oral form of semaglutide, which is what's in Ozempic. And it's like 20% less effective, but it was just FDA approved. And it's, you don't need to take a shot every week anymore, which is how Ozempic was working previously. So.
Okay. Sorry, I was just having some sound problems, but I'm here.
No problem, Saul. Radar wants to know, Saul, what kind of neurofeedback do you specialize in, my friend?
What kind of neurofeedback do I specialize in? Mostly I do pretty traditional neurofeedback. I do some Z-score training, 2 and 4 channel. I don't do 19 channel. And I do some PIR, HEG. So a lot of the work I do is chronic health, chronic pain, stuff like that. So I do biofeedback as well, and stuff like that. So.
And how's the society coming? What am I talking about?
Well, you may be talking about one of two things. There's AAPB, Association for Applied Psychophysiology and Biofeedback. That is one of the 2 international organizations that look at biofeedback and neurofeedback. The other is ISNR. And then I'm up in the Boston area, so I'm also involved with the Northeast Region Biofeedback Society. So.
And who are our 2 friends in the Northeast?
That's the SADARs, you mean?
The SADARs, yes.
Yeah, Mitch and Angelica Sadar.
Angelica, yeah.
Yeah, they're outside of Philadelphia.
They're the nicest people I've ever met from Philly.
Hey, I'm from Philly. They're actually not originally from Philly, either of them, but.
Well, they're there now, and they're making a difference.
They are. They got a good thing going.
So what's going on in the brain in Philadelphia that they have to boost so much, Saul?
That they have to boost so much?
Yeah.
Football game.
Hey, football. Well, when I was growing up, it was hockey. The Flyers, or as we used to call them, the Broad Street Bullies. So yes, that tells you everything you need to know. And now I'm in the Boston area, so it's like one to another.
So are you a Patriots guy yet?
No, never.
No.
I bleed green. Eagles.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Well, that might get me killed up here, I suppose. But
yeah. Stay indoors or something.
Exactly.
Anthony, you want to ask Dr. Saul that question we got earlier that maybe he'll have an opinion on? Yeah.
Wait, what was the question? Yeah. Radar, I think it was just a general question about what have you heard about efficacy of HRV breathing? Going back up here. So yeah, I don't know if that's of interest to you.
Sure.
Paul. Yeah.
Efficacy for what? Because these things, of course, are looked at.
He actually said using things like the Aura Ring and tracking changes tracking changes from NFB. So I think he's asking, can neurofeedback change your HRV over time?
I don't think that's been looked at. I don't think it's been studied. A lot of people, and this was really starting with the Thompsons, started doing HRV training for neurofeedback training. And now a lot of people are doing that. There's some data showing that it can improve the neurofeedback training, the outcomes, but it's not clear what the mechanism is.
Okay.
It probably has to do with better regulation of autonomic functions, autonomic nervous system.
Yes.
So, Saul, what are you seeing in January and coming into February? Anything in the Northeast? I'm sure you guys are all cringing from the snow, but
all snow all the time. Yeah.
See any trends or anything?
Trends in terms of like who I'm seeing,
mental health, neurofeedback, the whole 9 yards.
Well, I mean, I think that the trends with neurofeedback, and you've all talked about this before, is really the movement towards less expensive equipment, miniaturization, automatic, consumer, direct to consumer. That's an issue. I think as far as mental health is concerned, yes, I know that the new DSM is coming out. We could have many words about that. But yeah, a lot of, up here, there's a lot of anxiety, of course, but that's been true for many years. I think kick it off with the pandemic, but a lot of anxiety, a lot of, I see, again, a lot of health issues. So a lot of, at least up here, a lot of poor sleep. So a lot of my QEEGs, I'll get people people go into sort of stage 1 and sometimes stage 2 sleep. So a lot of that.
What about recreational habits in the Northeast? Are they drinking more weed? What's
my sense is, I mean, the Northeast, I mean, even though Boston is kind of this, many ways, like real liberal area, it was settled by the Puritans, and a lot of that still. So, I mean, even until recently, the bars are closed by like 1 a.m. So I suspect that alcohol use up here is probably less than other cities of the size.
Wow.
I'm just, I mean, I don't have the data, but that would just be
Sure.
Yeah, no, this isn't the place for the data. This is just
okay. Well, in that case, cannabis is legal in Massachusetts, so I'm sure that the use of it's gone up. I mean, I used to, encounter it non-recreationally with, some of my patients were getting medical marijuana, and we couldn't do it at the VA. I worked at the VA, couldn't do it there because they were federally driven. So even though it was legal in some areas, you couldn't get it at the VA, and maybe still can't. I'm not sure. So, my guess is that it seems like there's a new cannabis dispensary opening up every other week. So I suspect that that's relatively high use.
Yeah, Pete alerted me to something just now. That we hear about a lot of reductions in drinking, but I don't know if that's occurring with cannabis. So are these people just substituting, unfortunately, one for another?
Yeah.
So what do you think is going to happen if the kids are going to weed and less booze? Okay, pick your poison. Is the executive functioning going to deteriorate compared to what's been going on now, compared to booze, or what? I don't know. We're spitballing here.
Well, okay. If we're not talking about data, then
yeah.
I mean, alcohol is a disinhibitor, so people get in all kinds of trouble using alcohol, which I suspect marijuana probably puts you to sleep first. So they may not get into as much trouble in the same way.
Yeah.
But again, that's just spitballing, as you say.
Well, nobody's ever OD'd on weed.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's like one case, strange case. Yeah.
I mean, there are definitely arguments that cannabis is less problematic than alcohol, and I think there's validity to those arguments. That said, it's, as we all know, it is psychoactive, and it does increase frontal alpha, so depression, things like that. So.
Radar says it may give you ADHD due to the frontal alpha, which consistent. So attentional, maybe your attention drifts when you're not on it or something.
Yeah, I imagine that's true, actually.
Yeah, and then Saul, I have met, man, I think I counted up to 7 people, and they had the same story. They said, I used to be able to do cannabis no problem. And suddenly one day I just can't anymore, that every time I use it, it makes me paranoid. And this has been, I put this out on my wall. I said, anybody else experiencing this? And they experience it. And so I think, and that's when Jay chimed in on that post. He's like, it increases frontal alpha coherence, and that is associated with depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
And so I think there may be, I don't think this is most people, let's say, but there's some subgroup of people that maybe they it doesn't kill them, but they get some type of long-term intolerance, and their anxiety is higher residually after that. Like after that burst, it can take them months then to now go down. So anyway, I didn't know if you've heard about anything like that.
I've seen a little bit of that. I mean, I don't get a lot of people with cannabis as the primary problem, and I certainly am sure I have many that don't want to talk about it. But cannabis, we know that it is more powerful than it was, when millennial and Gen Xers were using it. And it sort of makes sense if you get the brain into a state, call it a hyperactivated state. It doesn't want to go. It doesn't want to leave that state because there's good reasons to be in a hyperactive state, not necessarily because of cannabis, but brains don't like to shift if they don't have to when they're in a state like that.
Yeah, you almost shift it. It starts to shift too well or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
I think so.
Yeah. So, and I mentioned to Pete, I saw a survey. It said the number one reason for habitual cannabis use, according to users, was anxiety. And it's like, man, I wish we could get them a better way to deal with the anxiety.
Do you have any ideas?
Well, yeah, right.
Psilocybin.
Yeah. Well,
Ah!
Long as it's tested safely, I wouldn't administered in a safe environment. But as we know, Jay always says there are patterns, EEG patterns, that don't do well with it, and so ideally people would know maybe if they have one of those patterns. I think high beta is one he mentions.
yeah.
And what did he say? Instabilities in the so.
Lynn says have helped psychosis induced by weed.
I think maybe she's saying psilocybin has. I'm guessing. Let's see. A lot. Yeah. Lynn, if you can explain that comment, that sounded interesting. I don't want to assume, so please. And then Radar says, a lot of people develop long-term dissociation after smoking weed. I've heard of this anecdotally from a handful of people. It's more common than people think. There is. I'm not talking about everybody, but I think we all have sort of in our head a little bit of a stereotype of a weed smoker or a cannabis user who is like a little bit chill and maybe just very laid back. So maybe there's something there. I don't know if that's causation there, but maybe that speaks to what Radar's noticing.
Well, I do wonder if hypercoherence of frontal alpha might lead to a dissociated, maybe not dissociated as technically, but maybe more depersonalized state.
Okay, depersonalized. Yeah.
Doesn't it take a lot longer to digest or process the weed versus booze and everything?
Maybe.
Like the half-life or something.
The half-life is
like it stays in your system for in a blood test. They'll see it.
Like if you take it at 3 o'clock, and you're like, that didn't work. I'm going to take a bunch more. Then all of a sudden at 9 o'clock, you're like, oh my God, I'm crawling up the walls. Radar says you were correct, Anthony. That's what he meant.
Yeah, and I think he might have been talking to Saul about the depersonalization too, but that's good. And then Lynn saying have helped psychosis induced by weed. So there are people that can start weed and they may have psychosis. They may have a break with reality. And so that's something, it's rare, but it is going up as of cannabis is becoming more common. So I wanted to just make sure we responded to her. Yeah.
Well, we got all these pop-up clinics. I mean, everybody's trying to make a buck and trying to figure out what's the right scenario here. I mean, is it like a hangover clinic, IV, and then you got your neurofeedback, or is it ADHD center? Is it depression center? Everybody needs a label or something to get people to come in. I think we're getting this change of changing the brain chemicals that are going on, that we might see different things popping up, and that's why I was asking Dr. Saul if he saw anything. And then I didn't realize the Puritan part of things, even though I was just at Providence, and I didn't see too many Puritans there.
No, Providence is a different story. I've lived in Providence in my past, but yeah, it's a different place.
So Pete's wondering if the substances we're using are leading to more of these specialized clinics, maybe, Dr. Saul.
I think it probably makes, if it hasn't, it probably will, because people will do that. And I think particularly as we move into the other psychoactives treatments, those will start to be used, which aren't always legal. And I have a couple of clients who go for these weekends out of state for some of these retreats. And I suspect as those become legal, which probably will happen, that those will lead to a lot of specialty clinics and retreats and things like that.
Yeah, I wonder if we haven't been able to study some of these drugs,
right? And
so somebody goes to a strange drug retreat and there really wasn't enough information for them to be making an informed decision, because unfortunately.
Right.
Would you consider ketamine a strange drug retreat?
I think Jay would say you want to know what the EEG of the person you're dealing with.
Yeah, Jay's not here. I got Saul and I got you.
Go for it, Dr. Saul.
Yeah, I mean, ketamine, we have ketamine clinics here. I mean, there are definitely clinics that are specializing, say, in ketamine and transcranial magnetic. those two things seem to go together for
Yes.
depression, right? And so we have people going in for ketamine. I've had some clients go in for ketamine. It's hard to do. I mean, TCMS is hard to do. It's daily. It's ketamine's an infusion. It's several, a couple of weeks or more. It's got to have. I mean, I think one should look at the EEG. I would agree with Jay on that, particularly with something like ketamine. But it's when it works, it works, and so it's hard to argue with that.
Yeah.
And when you're going there, my advice from the video editor, consider the source, is you're going to do neurofeedback and you're on the same floor as a ketamine clinic. Don't do that.
Is that what did you have one pop up next to you, Pete? Or
yeah, in my years of doing it, you get all this moaning, screaming, and you're trying to do 10 minutes eyes closed. That doesn't work.
It is
dissociating. You're supposed to be in a soundproof environment, but
yeah.
a lot of these businesses don't do that anymore. Saul, this is a pleasant surprise. Do you think we can get you on more Wednesdays?
Sure. Yeah, I have clients right up until you start, so I often forget. I don't make it.
Yeah.
Often I'll lurk at some of the times, and
it's cool to have new faces, and it's good to see you more often. I was going to say, I think part of the reason these clinics are maybe popping up, Pete, is that these people are usually treatment-resistant depression, they call it, where they've tried a couple of antidepressants usually, and it didn't work for them. And that goes back to the DSM, and that we don't, I say we, but the medical profession could stand to maybe embrace some more of the stuff we've learned and start diagnosing people a little bit better, medication matching at a minimum. So,
that'd be good.
It's people are desperate maybe on some level.
Radar says people smoke weed and they feel disconnected from their body. My friend described it as feeling like he was in a video game. Which video game?
Is it a fun one or a scary one?
Ayahuasca is more dangerous than people think.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Well, don't they say that you want to get more neuroplasticity by doing these particular drugs? That'll get Jay going. I'm going to delete that.
And Dr. Hill hates that one too. He's just like, you don't need necessarily more plasticity. Your brain's always changing. You need the right kind of plasticity.
Right.
And that's why we try to target. Most EEG people, I think, are trying to target the approach. So
right.
Yeah. Saul, let's send some people over your way. What are your URLs? We have a show that we did with you. I'm going to drop it.
Yes, that's right. They did. So I'm advancedbehavioral.care is my little practice there.
Behavioral care. Oh, .care. I'm sorry.
.care. Yes, and I also have I run a podcast for the NRBS called Healthy Brain, Happy Body. So that's also
Healthy Brain, and I've listened to your podcast from time. Yes, I see it on Facebook actually. Okay, cool. You have a lot of different services, Dr. Saul. So that's great.
Yeah.
Boston area.
And there's the link to the last show that we did together.
Oh gosh.
Oh, we got to bring you back.
Oh sure. Happy
to. Great. Yeah.
Anthony, what are the details on your chat room that we can put out there that the algorithm can find you?
I spend science and technology discoveries, but I've been spending more of my time in Brain Master because that's where the real brain curious types, inquisitive types are. But yeah, I gotta figure out some type of other mix of social media and AI or something to engage more people, because I'm finding I'm even missing the stimulation of the online discussions. I really feel like they've dropped off. So if you have any ideas, you're a good idea person.
I think we should do a live stream.
There we go. We got that one. We got that one coming.
Every Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Central, 7 o'clock over by Dr. Saul. Dr. Saul, thank you so much.
Oh, thanks for inviting me on.
Well, of course, and I'm going to do that. Every week, I'll send you a little email, Dr. Saul.
I appreciate that.
And then Lynn, thank you. Radar, thank you. Who else did we have? Anna, thank you.
Peter was here briefly, I believe.
Yeah, all the old timers, old schoolers. All right. All right, everybody, take care. Dr. Saul, thanks for coming in again at the end to save us, and we'll see you next week, hopefully, or the next couple.
Hopefully.
Have a
all right,
great
guys,
evening.
take care.
Take care, y'all.